Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Let me talk to you. Yeah. That's right. LA Knight. Ooh. I am hoping to God WWE does the right thing and gives LA Knight that title shot at SummerSlam. They hyped up. There's 2 fatal 4-ways in this United States Championship Invitational. One happened last night on SmackDown. One's happening next Friday on SmackDown. And then in 2 weeks, those 2 winners fight each other. And the winner goes on to fight Austin Theory for the United States Championship at SummerSlam. And I hope to God they give that to L.A. Knight. Yeah! I really, really love the promo that he did also. And they made him, again, the past couple weeks... We'll wait till we get there. But yeah, that was, of course, my favorite part of this show. From an episode of SmackDown that actually wasn't too bad. Well, there was one thing on the show that was like the main storyline of the night that I didn't really enjoy the way they booked that. That was clunky and so inconsistent, but we'll talk about that, though, shortly. But what is going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993. And we are here for my review of last night's episode of SmackDown. The July 14th, 2023 edition took place in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're about 3 weeks away, I believe it is, from SummerSlam. And once again, I will be attending SummerSlam this year, and I'm pretty excited about it. Again, overall thoughts. Again, like I said, the thing, though, that's tough, though, is the fact that the grade I want to give this episode of SmackDown, I'll say it was solid. Because, again, well, I wasn't a big fan of... The thing I didn't like on this show was the stuff they did for the women's title. That stuff was... that was horrible. That was very horribly written. There is so many continuity issues in this storyline leading up to this rumored triple threat match for SummerSlam with Asuka, Bianca, and Charlotte. First off, again, they're doing nothing to help Asuka. Nothing. They even... That opening promo said it all. The focus of this feud is Bianca and Charlotte. Who cares about Asuka? You know Asuka's dropping that title at SummerSlam. I wish she would keep it, so that way she would feud with Io Sky, because we want to see Asuka and Io Sky, don't we? Because if that's the case, another question I have also, another problem I have with this, why on earth, after everything that's happened the past couple weeks, why on earth is Bayley still helping Io? Like, there's still, like, no story. If they would at least address, Bayley's reaction, and then maybe this sets up for Bayley to cost Io her cash in, maybe that'll make sense. But the fact they're ignoring the elephant in the room, where a few weeks before Money in the Bank, Io was getting Bayley a match to put her Money in the Bank spot on the line. Then they cut it. But then they do it. They have Io help Bayley win. When it's like, weren't you putting her to the test for this? And then at Money in the Bank, you had Io handcuff Bayley to Becky for Io to win the match. And Bayley still hasn't addressed it. That makes no sense. And forget about the other stuff going on with Bianca and Charlotte. Ugh. Horrible storytelling. I did like, though, what they did with the Bloodline, of course. I did like I do like this United States Invitational. A lot of fresh faces are getting a shot in this, so I do like that. I'm a little interested in what's going on with Shotzi Blackheart. We'll talk about what's going on with her in a second as well. But yeah, there is some good stuff on this episode of SmackDown. I just feel like I liked it a little bit more than last week's episode, but I'm giving it the same grade I gave last week's episode. The problem is the fact that last week's episode, most of it was the bloodline. Because of how much time it took up, it's hard to grade a show that was good for a good 50 minutes to an hour, because most of that was bloodline and the rest of it was crap. But we'll see what happens. Again, let's talk about this episode and we'll get right into it. So let's just get the stuff with the women's title match out of the way with. So the main event on this episode was Asuka and Bianca one-on-one for the WWE Women's Championship. So the show started off with Bianca coming out. And she talks about how she has had to wait forever for her one-on-one rematch. And tonight, she finally gets the opportunity and nobody can stop her. And then Charlotte Flair comes out. And Bianca's got the Queen all fired up. And the Queen's like, Bianca, I think you will win tonight here in Flair country. When you do win the title back, I am first in line. And she asks Bianca, and Bianca thinks, and they shake on it. They agree that they'll face each other at SummerSlam with a win later on in the show. Okay? Again, let's just skip over that. Let's get this part out of the way. So then, later in the show, we see Charlotte Flair looking like rolling her suitcase down the hall, getting ready to leave. Adam Pearce is like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm leaving because I know she has a hard time letting things go. And she does not want, and she says if she stays, she knows she'll get involved in the title match. And Adam Pearce is like, okay, cool. Which gets me thinking also. And again, I've been really nitpicking some of these continuity stuff lately. Why Adam Pearce did not ban Charlotte from the ring? From the arena. From the arena. There's a difference. Banned from ringside, banned from the arena. What if Adam Pearce is that worried about chaos, then ban them from the arena. I don't get why they just let them just walk all over. Or, storyline wise, why would they let people be in their corners if they do nothing but keep, winning? I don't get all of a sudden we're oh, let's ban this person from ringside. It's well, why didn't you just do that the first time? Again, continuity stuff like that just drives me nuts. But anyways, Charlotte says, oh, I'm too much of a liability. I shouldn't be there. But then, after she walks away, here comes Bayley and Io Sky. And they said they'll be watching Bianca and Asuka. And then, later on in the night, there was no word about them being banned from ringside or banned from the arena. And as they walk away, Charlotte comes back and says, given what I just witnessed, I'll be sticking around. Why? I mean, maybe because, she had the faith in Bianca to win the title. Okay, but the problem is what does that do for Asuka? They're making Asuka look like the chump, and she is the champion. Again, Bianca and Charlotte were both making it seem like that they can get past Asuka. Making Asuka look like the freaking underdog. That is your champion, who should be booked like a badass. But Vince McMahon wants to make her go she's a heel, but she's still acting goofy like she was when Vince had her as champion. But the only reason why she was champion is because Becky Lynch went away for maternity leave. Again, just like Braun Strowman, They don't put the title on Asuka when they want her to be champion, when they need her to be champion. And I'm tired of that booking. Again, you know that, and even how they booked her at the end of the night too. So let's get to the end. Let me see here. So we can skip over Zelina and Bayley. We'll get back to that in a second. That kind of goes to a different story there. Okay. Then, oh no, that's not yet. Come on, almost there. Okay, so then we get ready for the main event later on tonight. Before the bell rings, Bayley and Io are walking through the crowd, showing off that they bought a ticket. Which, once again, here's the issue. When did Adam Pearce ban them from ringside? He never did. So why did they have to buy a ticket to be sitting in the arena? And then Charlotte enters as well, showing the ticket. And I was just like, again, where's the continuity here? This makes no sense. Why did Charlotte need to buy a ticket? And why? Okay, again, the reason why Charlotte was obsessed with Bianca winning is because Bianca would give her what she wanted, a title match. But once again, that booking is just making Asuka look like a chump. And the match wasn't even that good at all. It ended whenever Io and Bayley jumped the ring to cash in. And Charlotte came in to save Bianca. And instead, they dodged a spear from Charlotte. And Charlotte speared Bianca. And the match ends in a DQ. Asuka got, nothing out of this. Nothing out of this. She looked like the weakest person in the ring. And she is the champion. And then Io and Bayley try to get set up to cash in. But then Asuka pops up and mists Bayley, and then the champ runs away, and the show ends with Asuka standing there smiling, and I'm just like, this did nothing for anybody. This feud feels like it's just Bianca and Charlotte. Asuka looks like a chump, and once again, why is Io and Bayley still working together after what happened at Money in the Bank? It makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. I mean, the match could be good, but once again, they're making Asuka look like the weakest link in this whole fiasco. Then it's obvious to me that Asuka's not going to retain the title. They're probably going to put it on Charlotte. I'm pretty sure I can, right now, I don't know what I'm saying. Betting, I don't know. But I am almost 100% positive they're going to put that belt back on Charlotte. I would love it if they kept the belt on Asuka and have her get a big win. And you can do Bianca and Charlotte one-on-one without the title. Again, that's a way to elevate a women's division, is the non-title feuds. But they do none of those anymore, except for, Becky and Trish. But they do none of that anymore because Vince McMahon is around. That pisses me off. But yeah, that was the stuff that I didn't like about the show. The rest of the show wasn't too bad. But of course, unfortunately, that took over the blunt of the show. Had it not been for that, I probably would have given this one a little bit higher of a grade than I'm going to give. But, because of that bad booking. A couple of things. I mean, okay, yeah, this was what it was. We have the Brawling Brutes taking on the Yes Boys! Pretty Deadly. The Brawling Brutes win after Ridge, I think, runs into an exposed turnbuckle, and that was that. We also have a video package on Grayson Waller because he swam with Edge last Friday. Kathy Kelly interviews him, and he is in the first of the Fatal 4-Ways for the United States Invitational, which I'm thinking, why is he in this if he's only wrestled one match on the main roster and he lost? I mean, okay, you can make the argument that, Finn Balor didn't even wrestle a match on the main roster yet when he wrestled in this. I get that. So, okay, Yes, it's a nitpick, but my thing is Finn Balor didn't lose any matches on the main roster yet. Grayson Waller lost his match, so why is he getting rewarded with a mid-card title shot? Well, I guess it wouldn't be as bad, but anyways, I just don't get it. Grayson Waller, again, I've only seen him wrestle like 1 or 2 matches, because I didn't watch NXT. I just still look at him and I just see he's a guy that Vince loves. He's a guy that Vince wants to shove him down our throats. But, anyways, so he's not surprised he's competing for this title opportunity this soon on the main roster. He talks about giving The Rock being focused on his whole family and is imploding on SmackDown every week. And if the Great One needs a Grayson Waller rub, he knows where to find him. I guess someone with The Rock said something on Grayson Waller's Twitter or something like that. I don't know. But there was that type of later in the show. We also get a video package about the saga from what happened last week with the tribal court and whatnot. And we're told that Jimmy Uso will be out for the foreseeable future as a result of the injuries suffered from last week. And we'll hear from Jey Uso later in the show. Bayley then beats Zelina Vega in a very quick match. Bayley and Bayley and Io, I guess, are carrying around the piece of Shotzi's hair that they cut off of her the last week. And they put it inside Io's briefcase. After the match, though, and as Damage Control exit and celebrate their victory, Shotzi then shows up on the screen. She admits she may be a little weird. She tells Bayley and Io, though, she's not scared. And she grabs a razor, a hair, I can't call it, what do barbers call them? Not clippers, shaver, whatever it's called. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, she grabs it, and she goes, I'm in control. And she starts shaving her head, laughing like a maniac, and basically is shaving her head bald, bringing out a crazier side of Shotzi. Which, we'll see where that goes. Again, I mean, I don't know if this is a sign they're actually going to give Shotzi a serious push. Because again, I did like that they made her a babyface again. They brought her back to Tank. Basically trying to make her where she was NXT, but to me, she never got, because of how poorly they booked the women's division, she never got back out of that, okay, she's an old toy pulled out of a toy box that has cobwebs on it. That's why I kept thinking of Shotzi. Because I wasn't like the biggest Shotzi fan in NXT, but I got what they were going. She was basically a female Jeff Hardy. So maybe this new repackaging with the shaved head or whatnot could be something. And apparently, the reason why her head was shaved, she requested it because her sister, I guess, is suffering can't talk. Her sister has cancer, and I guess it's a way that she is like showing her support to her, which I think is a very, very class move on Shotzi's part. But we'll see what happens when we see bald Shotzi. Oh yeah, and then we see. So then we're getting ready. Well, we see AJ Styles getting ready for his U.S. title shot. He'll be in the match later on in the show. And then we have Jey Uso come out. He says growing up, him and Jimmy were inseparable. It's a twin thing. One is sad, so is the other. When they're happy, so is the other. When they're hurting, so is the other. He just never believed that Jimmy would be hurt at the hand of his actual family. Jey respects his family, but that stops when it comes to Roman Reigns. He's going to pull the little brother, Sol Sikoa, over his knee just like he did last week. And Wiseman? Paul Heyman has been puppeteering his family for decades. And that stops now because he's the head of the table, main event Jey Uso. Which again, I love, and then I'm doing a short. After I record this, I'm recording a short. I'm editing it, I'm getting out there. I've been wanting to do this since WrestleMania, explaining myself, how I feel like I'm the only person who is saying that Roman Reigns' reign is not going to end until they separate him, not from the Usos, not from Sami, not from Solo, from the wise man himself. And I'll explain why when I do that short. But anyways, this brings out Mr. Ladies and Gentlemen, Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa. And he says Solo's only here to enforce the peace. This is something that's passed down from Alpha and Sika and their ancestors. And next week, Roman will be here, and him and Jay will discuss the rules of engagement. Everyone in the ring now, Heyman talks about how angry Jay sounds. In fact, he sounds more like a tribal chief every day. Solo says nothing, but Paul says he's right. Jay doesn't have any insight. He doesn't realize what happened to Jimmy and how it's all his fault. He rose up and tried to take control of the family, and Jimmy paid the price. He speaks right to Jimmy and says the same thing. He tells Jay that Jimmy and their parents will never forgive him. Neither will he or Roman. And then Solo puts his hand out for the mic, and then Heyman gives it to him, and Heyman's shocked like, whoa! What's Solo got to say? I'm thinking the same thing too, because Solo never speaks. He says what happened to Jimmy is on him, and he'll never forgive him either. And then they start brawling with Solo. Then Jay gets him out, and then he's alone in the ring with Paul Heyman. So of course, again, this is a tease also as to basically the nail in the coffin, the Nagini of Roman Reigns. Again, that will be the title of that short. Paul Heyman is Roman Reigns' Nagini. Because of a Harry Potter reference, of course. So they have Heyman cornered. And Heyman's like begging him off. But then Solo comes in back from behind with clubbing blows. But Jay dodges the Samoan spike and clears Solo out of the ring. And then he super kicks Paul Heyman. He dives onto his brother at ringside. The crowd chants Uso, Uso, and one more time. Heyman is begging because then they have a chair in the ring. And Heyman is begging Jimmy, don't do it. And Jay's got the chair. And I think the last time we saw Paul Heyman take any sort of like a weapon bump, I think was whenever he feuded with Punk and the kendo stick. So Jay's about to wallop Heyman with that chair, but then Solo gets in the way and basically takes the bullet for Heyman while he escapes. And they sink away, and then again we're reminded that Roman will be here next week, and for the 5,000th time we're reminded that the show is going to be on FS1 next week. Anyways, so then we have the Fatal 4-Way for the US title Invitational. It is AJ Styles, Santos Escobar, Butch, or Pete Dunne, and Grayson Waller. Good match. Again, I like this is a very fresh Fatal 4-Way. I liked it. The only thing I didn't like, though, was towards the end of the match, AJ Styles hits a phenomenal forearm. And then he goes to set up Butch with a Styles Clash. But then up on the Tron, we see Karrion Kross taking out Carl Anderson and says he's not done yet. And AJ leaves the match to go check on him. And I'm just like, why is this still going on? AJ Styles beat again, the match was cut short due to time constraints last week, but AJ Styles beat Karrion Kross in 3 minutes last week. What's there to continue? Why are we doing another match? I'm hoping they don't do it at SummerSlam, because I'm done with this one. I'm sorry, like Karrion Kross, let's just call it as it is. Things haven't worked out for him either, and mostly because again, Vince McMahon being back has hurt him again. So, yeah, I don't care about that match when it happens again. But Santos Escobar gets the win when he did like a crossbody onto Grayson Waller. And, he has a victory. So Santos Escobar will face the winner of next week's Fatal 4-Way. It's going to be Rey Mysterio, Which all these guys, which the first three had like backstage like promos. Rey Mysterio, who talks about finding his family in the LWO, getting a Hall of Fame ring, and he'll be one step closer next week to becoming the United States champion. Which, of course, if he would win, we know how he would face his LWO brother, Santos Escobar. We also show Sheamus, who has had his issues with Austin lately, and he's willing to take our crack. And then we also, because I was wondering where the heck he's been for a while, I think he had a match that was cut a couple weeks ago also. But we're also going to see next week Cameron Grimes to the moon. He'll be in the match. I'm like, cool. And then they don't give him an insert promo. They give him a full-on promo. We then hear LA Knight's music. And I'm all fired up. I'm like, yeah! But he comes out. And again, I've been saying this for weeks. I mean, yes, I keep seeing the signs. We all know Vince is back, but there's one person that I'm more worried than ever because I feel like he has benefited. He has seriously benefited a lot from Triple H taking over because Triple H stuck his nose out for this guy when they wanted to fire him because he's too old. Then they're giving Damian Priest, which again, nothing against Damian Priest, I like him too. They gave him the Money in the Bank contract, and he's older than LA Knight. But LA Knight comes out, super big pop. And it looks like they're teasing a full-on babyface turn for LA Knight. At this point, they should. And although I don't think he's fully a face yet, I love that this is the start of it. Because this, again, as I keep saying, he is one person I've kept a sharp eye on. And I got worried whenever he would stop doing his catchphrases. I thought, oh crap. Vince probably wants him to be a full-on heel. And he's probably upset because his, let me talk to you, and that's a fact of life, and his, yeah, we're getting over. Because there was a couple of weeks where he wasn't saying any of those phrases. And I just kept thinking, he's just another Wade Barrett. He's getting his catchphrase taken away because Vince probably wants him to remain a heel, and he's tired of him getting hot pops. So, but now it looks like they're rolling with it. And LA Knight acknowledged it, and he didn't shit on it either. So he comes out, and he goes, let me talk to you. I realized all of a sudden that LA Knight is everywhere. People want to use his name on the internet for clicks. You can call him a megastar. Hell, you can call him the GOAT. But very soon, you're going to call me champ. Because everybody will be saying, L.A. Knight. Yeah! And I'm like, yes! Fired up. Again, like the past, ever since that Logan Paul segment, where he announced that Logan Paul was going to be in the ring, and he cooked L.A. Knight cooked Logan Paul. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. And he's been doing his shtick ever since. So I don't want to get too comfortable with this because I'm hoping they're not going to like give him all that just for him to lose at SummerSlam, which it wouldn't surprise me, of course, if Vince would do that just to cut off all of his momentum. But give the U.S. title to LA Knight. Give it to him, please, and turn him face. He's over as hell. Roll with what the crowd likes. Give it to him. So yeah, he does that, and he also plugs that his show will be on FS1 as usual, blah, blah, blah. And we already talked about the women, and that's the show. That was SmackDown. Again, love the LA Knight promo. I like the U.S. title invitational. I like some of the bloodline, of course, going on. Again, I'm interested in what's happening with Shotzi. The tag match was what it was. Again, the only thing I really didn't like on the show was the stuff they did with the women's title. That's really the only thing I didn't like, even though it took up a bulk of the show. But because of all that, I gave the show a B-. I think if it wasn't for that women's stuff, I probably would have given it a B. Or if it wasn't as like much of a focal point of the show, I probably would have given it a B. Because I thought it was a good show, but not quite. So I gave it a B-. A B- for this week's episode of SmackDown. Guys, what are your guys' thoughts on this week's episode of SmackDown? Make sure to share your thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 90. Yeah, the Club with the Man 93. Can't talk today. Be sure also follow me on TikTok and Instagram, the Club with the Man 1993, and I'll be uploading this with a bunch of other videos tonight, which will be including my SummerSlam printed match card. Make sure we get that one some hot views. Again, we're 95 subscribers away from 2,000. We're almost there, guys, and I just been waiting to see my match cards be hot on views again. They're hot on TikTok. They get a lot of views on TikTok, but YouTube, not quite as much. I'm trying to get back to the days where those used to get several thousands of views. But also, hopefully in the next couple of days also, I will also be recording my 2023 edition for WWE Worst Matches of All Time. In response again to Just Alex. And I'm very excited for that video when it gets recorded. So guys, that does it. I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. Have a great rest of your night. And stay tuned also for a short. I gotta get it out there. I'm getting that out there, that short out there of why I think the true final piece to taking out Roman Reigns is Paul Heyman. So I'm going to record that right after this. I'll edit it. I'll upload it with the rest of my stuff tonight. And we'll go from there. So until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And you know what? I'm going to change it. Instead of saying, for I am the man himself. No, I should say that's not okay. But I'll add this up. For I am the man himself. And that's a fact of life. Yeah!